We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's time to get into formation. We gotta get ready for the battle. So call on your brothers and sisters. We gotta turn back to the scriptures. Stop making it all about you. Them preachers, they got it confused. Come out of her. Cause Yahuwah is our deliverer. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, cause nobody's perfect. We're called by his name. We're called by his name. Seek him to be worthy. We should be coming together. There's power in unity. It's time to come into the order, cause we are a living prophecy. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. Lace up them boots. We gotta move step mode, put on camouflage. We gotta be wise. Open your eyes to the Most High in the skies. We must stop arguing, it's irrelevant. We must live in the Torah, it's heaven sent. He will put it in your heart, fulfilling the word of the new covenant. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, cause nobody's perfect. We're called by his name. We're called by his name. Seek him to be worthy. We should be coming together. There's power in unity. It's time to come into the order, cause we are a living prophecy. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Doing part 2 to the video I did early this morning. There were a couple of questions on the video I did this morning, and I told the person I would respond and answer their question and their statements, address their statements that they had made concerning the video this morning, and just make sure I don't, there's no room for confusion on anything I said. Because I don't think I'm gonna get a chance to do a video tomorrow morning. I'm gonna be up there at the Brew Out up in Cincinnati, so it's gonna be kind of a busy weekend. I will be going live up there, but I just, you know, I'm gonna be covering the event up there and everything like that. But and the sister did have a legitimate concern, so I'll read some of what she wrote. And for those of y'all who might have missed the lesson this morning, it was basically talking about the importance of having a warrior mentality and not a victim mentality, just to make it real basic, you know what I'm saying? So, and I just went into how we are subliminally, kind of unknowingly, we get taught to have a victim mindset and not to put the word into action and go to war and, you know, make the changes and go to war, spiritual combat in the spirit realm against a lot of this demonic oppression, demonic possession that a lot of us have. We are subliminally and subtly and deceptively kind of put to sleep and in a subliminal way told, hey, you don't have to fight, it's okay, just kind of, you know, sometimes some people just got demons on them, you know, Most High understands. You know, that's the subtle message out there. And we can't teach that way. So that's what the lesson was about this morning, about the fact that we, like that scripture says, we battle against spiritual wickedness in high places. It's a war. Put on, you know, the equipment, you know, the sword of truth and all that stuff like that. And I'm gonna read what the sister wrote, because she might have missed that. I'm not sure, but she wrote a pretty long statement. But what she said, you say have a warrior mindset, but everybody is raised different. Everybody didn't have to live in a warrior's mindset. So if you grew up in the suburbs, so I think when she says have a warrior mindset, I think she's talking about a person that might, she might be missing what I'm saying a little bit. So when I say having a warrior's mindset, now look, I didn't necessarily, I knew some straight thugs, some straight killers coming straight out the hoods and stuff like that. I did not grow up in no straight hood or nothing like that. So, but again, what we're talking about here is a spiritual war. And this spiritual war sees no boundaries. You have the very elite, the very rich, the people at the upper echelons of society that are under spiritual attack, that suffer spiritual issues like depression and lust addiction and whatever you want to call it. And to be honest, it manifests in a worse way at those upper levels, because now they have the resources at hand to greatly magnify the spiritual battle and stuff like that they're under. And then at the very lower levels in the hoods and people at the lower levels of society, or whatever you want to call it, are under the same spiritual attack. And if you got your mind right and your mind is aligned to this word, and you are waging spiritual war the proper way, money is a nothing. Wealth, status, all that stuff falls off, because you realize it doesn't amount to anything as far as you being content and, as far as you being content with your situation and where you're at in life and anything like that. Like when we begin talking about what I'm saying here about spiritual warfare, and when we begin to go into this spirit realm and discuss stuff on the spiritual combat frontline warfare, and getting your mind right and getting your mind aligned with what the Bible, where the Bible says it's supposed to be at, getting your emotions aligned with where the word says your emotions are supposed to be at. You don't care whether you're a woman or you're a man, and your status is this and my status is that, and I work here and I have this much money or I have this little money. When you're walking, like they say when you're walking in the spirit, all that other stuff falls off, man. You don't get caught up in that. So I think she kind of is taking that into a carnal level. So let me see what else she wrote here. Because I don't think she understood where I was coming from. So she said, you say have a warrior mindset, but everybody is raised different. Everybody didn't have to live in a warrior's mindset. So if you grew up in the suburbs and all you knew was work and go to school and this and that, we will get in the warrior's mindset. If we never even had a warrior mindset, it sounds good, but where do we get it? I know I'm not going to get... So she was saying she don't think I'm going to answer her question, but nah, I will answer it. So what she's saying, I think she meant when she reads the Bible, And this kind of, this verifies what I was teaching earlier. She is the best way to say it, she is the evidence of exactly what I'm talking about. The majority of these religious establishments raise people up in a victim's mentality. They are out. They're telling them that's the Magic Kingdom, and that's Mickey Mouse right there running around, and there's Goofy, and welcome to Disney World, and ha la 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 la. And when the reality is, what I'm telling people and what the Bible is telling people is that that castle, that's not the Magic Kingdom. You're on a battlefield. And that's a trench, and that's a cannon, and those are mines. And all those sparks and fire going up in the air, those aren't fireworks. Those are bombs going off trying to kill you. So again, it goes back to what I'm saying. A lot of people come up in this church-ality or whatever you want to call it, and they're telling them, oh, no, you're not in a war. It's cupcakes and ice cream and everything's, oh, no, you're cool, brother. And then by the time they get to the point where the mental pain gets too much, depression starts setting in. They've destroyed one relationship after another. They're wrestling with this, and their mind just ain't right. By the time they realize it, or those are the signs that make them realize, hey, I'm in a war. You know, and they come across somebody like me telling them, look, this life is war. You know what I'm saying? You're in a battle. You're constantly under attack in the spirit realm. Stop fighting against people. You're fighting against demons in people, you know, and just breaking down, laying out the whole, because that's what I do here in Spiritual Combat. I want to lay out the whole landscape of the battlefield and roll the battle map out. Look, this is us right here. The cannons over here, the tanks are here, there's a trench here. You could take cover here. Here's your weapon. This is how you use it. You know what I'm saying? And taking the people out of Disneyland. Telling them, no. You know, let me say that again. That's not Mickey Mouse. That is the enemy soldier. That's a demon. You know, and you're demonically possessed right now. Boom. And just telling the people, it is what it is. Like, this is what it is. So, what she went on to write is, I've been following law, statutes, and commandments for a good 3 to 4 years. I don't have a worry in mind. Okay, she says she doesn't have a worry in mind, state ID, when I get upset from the things that I'm learning, but I know not to go out there flapping around, you know, with something about white people and Jewish people. I don't know how to just get a warrior mindset. I know God says his ways are not our ways, and I know he's a God of war, and there's no class teaching you how to be a warrior, especially not for the women. The women supposed to stay behind a stove and pregnant. It's the same ideology that most of these inconsiderate and insensitive men give, is what the Bible shows women not to have the children, cook the food, keep the house clean, and pray, and that's it. So where is the warrior mindset come in at? So again, she's perfectly verifying what I'm saying, and even in the Hebrew Israelite community. And to a certain extent, I could agree with what she's saying, to the point where all they tell the women is, you know, quiet women, shut up, learn in silence, you know, and that's all they droning on about. But, and yes, the Bible has a role for the woman, and it clearly lays that out. And she hit on some of them, Proverbs 31 woman and everything like that. The Bible clearly has roles laid out for the woman to fulfill. But what we get a lot in the Hebraic teachings, what a lot of Hebrew Israelites out there teach, is, again, they skip over the spiritual aspect. They just say, get in there and cook. And the woman be like, well, why? Because I told you to. You know, and it's like, okay, where we have to jump to again is where Christ said, first, clean the inside of the cup. So when you're dealing with yourself, get your mind right first, and then you will naturally fall into your biblical role. It won't be met with so much resistance and fight, even in yourself. And the same thing I tell the men when they come into this truth, and a woman might not be in this truth. Okay, the way you win your woman into this truth is, first you get your mind right, get yourself aligned, and then you do the same with the woman. You help her get her mind right, and then begin to move her into who she has to be as a woman. Now, this sister, again, she's perfectly confirmed my first message of nobody's telling anybody they're in a war. Like, she's like, I never heard nothing about, I didn't know I was in a war. They told me I was at Disney World. And, you know, this was at Epcot Center or whatever that big castle's called over there, you know. So she's like, this is, I'm telling you, the stuff I be saying, I don't be playing around. I be telling y'all facts. Nobody's telling everybody, hey, you're in a war and you need to stand up and start fighting. You're in a war and something's attacking your mind. Excuse me. So that's confirmation on that. And she, you know, and to that sister, I appreciate her writing in. And I also want to tell her that if you do want if you want to know about the war that we're in and the battlefield and the equipment used and how to use the equipment to wage spiritual combat, guess what? Watch Spiritual Combat, because that's what I talk about, is spiritual combat. Okay? You hear the song that Ak Lorvin's made for me. It's a spiritual combat. Like, welcome to the war. You know, welcome to the Matrix. You know? So she continued on and she wrote, I would say that they're promoting the victim mentality. Oh, she said, I wouldn't say. So she's not agreeing with me. She said, I wouldn't say that they're promoting the victim mentality or tiptoeing through the tulips. I just would say that they are avoiding them in the ones that are already victims, continue to be victims, and then they go to other people looking for help and they don't know how to help them. And they don't know how to say they don't know how. So yeah, they don't know. Yeah, and I mentioned that earlier. I was saying I don't think they, a lot of these people out here, they don't consciously realize what they're doing. Okay, a lot of times that they're, you know, but for me, I'm at a unique vantage point. I see what's going on with a lot of people. I see a lot of patterns. And, you know, when I see the sheep getting destroyed by something, I'm going to jump in there like a shepherd and, you know, lead them in the right direction, you know. So then we're stuck with victims who don't know what to do, who don't know how to overcome because they're getting Bible teaching, but they're not really sure how to apply it to their lives. So this sister perfectly confirmed everything I was saying. I appreciate her writing in. And like I said, okay. Thanks, sis. So she replied back. She said, yeah, okay. So she wrote some other stuff after, because I let her know I was going to answer her question. She said, yeah, because I see a lot of people always using people who are in relationships who are married. Nobody ever makes a video about the single person who ain't got nobody to congregate with. And sister, if you look back, I got a bunch of videos about that. I got a bunch of videos about what to do when you're single. I got videos where I go step by step of how to meet somebody in the truth and all that, where I go in detail and break it down. If you're on YouTube, so just look back at some of my older videos and you will see that in there. Who ain't got nobody to congregate with and don't have nobody to pray with them and touching, agree with them. So how do we supposed to do it and feel like it's being affected because you don't feel those things are noticed? These things happening overnight, not going to work for a day just to fast and pray is not going to make a difference the next day when you got to be realistic about this. That didn't make any sense to me. So what I was telling them is when you're dealing with something, when you realize something's on you, when you really, for instance, with me, when I came into this truth and was really pursuing God hard, and I realized that, hey, I struggle with this lust and all that stuff like that. And I realized what it really was, that it was demonic possession or oppression. I stopped everything that wasn't important. The only thing I was doing was what was important. And at that time, the most important thing was getting the demons off her. Okay? And she's just saying she don't see the point of taking off work and really figuring out what's going on. So what I would tell this sister is, if you're isolated, if you're by yourself, and the Most High has put it on your heart, because you wrote it right there, that you need to find somebody to fellowship with, to congregate with, and find somebody to eventually get into a relationship with, then and you're making it a big enough point where you wrote in about it to where, and I know that is a big deal. I would say having people to fellowship with and not being totally isolated is more important than whatever job you're working or wherever you're working at or whatever. It's worth taking a pay cut and moving somewhere else. It's worth cutting back and saving up $20 a week so that you could take a bus to the next Hebrew Israelite event that they're having for whatever ministry you're following. Because whatever ministry you're following, if you've done your due diligence and they line up with the word, when you go to their event, guess what's going to be there? A lot of like-minded people. Guess what you're going to find? You're going to find a lot of people. You're going to find somebody who lives in your area. You watch Spiritual Combat. This is all we bang on, is getting your mind right. So put in there where you, the state you live in, and you can figure that out. So it goes back to what I'm saying, the warrior mentality versus the victim mentality. What we've been caught into thinking is like, oh, woe is me, I'm just by myself and ain't nothing I could do. It ain't me. And what the Bible's telling you is get up and get to work and do something and take action and make sure the action you're taking lines up with the word and get out and do something. Don't sit there defeated. Go to war with your situation. So this is the exact war we're talking about. So like I said, I'll do a video specifically to answer, I'm going to go in deep detail about, hey, if you're out there and you're isolated, I'm going to show you some examples of what you can do, because I was in that situation. I lived in a rural town, and I was 27, and I hadn't been in any type of meaningful long-term relationship. And I said, you know what? This means a big deal to me. And I up and moved. I moved to Jacksonville, Florida with no family, no friends, no nobody. And I started from scratch. And 6 months later, I met Sister Koya Israel. Here we are 10 years later. Happily ever after married. Nah, but I have many examples of situations like that in my life where nothing's going to happen until you make something happen. And that's what the Bible's telling you too. Faith without works is dead. If you believe, but you ain't doing nothing about it, nothing's going to happen. It's that simple. That's why I was talking about the warrior mindset. The warrior goes to war. He's proactive. He takes action. The victim just sits up in the corner and just lets life happen to them. Okay? Lets life have its way. That ain't me. I'm going out fighting. So she put most of every platform I ever watch always direct to people who are married. And that has people in their lives. Everybody don't have that. Everybody don't have a congregation. Yeah, so like I said, make it happen. If you don't have a congregation, find one. They're there. And I'm getting ready to make that easier. But if you don't have a congregation or somebody to fellowship with, move somewhere where they do. Well, everybody can't afford to move. Well, go broke trying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being mean, but I'm saying it's that real. I'm talking about, I was willing to take, I was an aircraft mechanic when I was in Middle Georgia. I already had a house and everything. I was doing good, but I was willing to get a job at Walmart if I had to, because it was better than sitting there miserable, lonely, hopeless, unfulfilled. And at the time I wasn't all the way in the truth. I didn't know what I was really searching for was the Most High, but I knew I wanted a wife, and I knew I didn't want to be lonely, and I knew I wanted to have kids, and I wasn't going to sit there, because I had sat there for 27 years just like, well, eventually he'll send somebody along. I was saying that for years, and nobody ever came along. And as soon as I started making moves and aggressively making life give me a wife, then the Most High gave me one. He gave me Sister Koya, and all praise. So again, it's basic. It's faith without works. It's dead. This is not Disney. This isn't, if you wish upon a star. No. But that's what they teach. And that's what the sister said they teach. They teach a Disney doctrine. But spiritual combat teaches a combat doctrine. All right? So let's see what y'all going in over here. She said, I know I'm not perfect, but I agree with every word of the Bible. Okay, okay. I will admit where I have been getting my teachings, he don't touch on how to have actions with this word. And that let me tell you this, sis. What happened with me at 27, I was in the church, and there was this girl, and it didn't work out, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this junk. And I walked away from the church. And I went into the world, and I started seeking worldly knowledge. And the worldly knowledge had more truth in it than the church knowledge, but it was half-truths. But what that knowledge did is led me right back to the word again, years later, after I met Sister Koya. And then I got deeper into the word to all the way to the point where I'm at now, where I got a solid understanding. And she is so right. She said, he don't touch on how to have actions with the word. They don't teach you how to deal with day to day. I know it's a battle. It is. And all it's about is dealing with day to day. Not going in, having that Disney, that dose of happiness, and then go back, But they have the teachers out there, or so-called teachers, the false prophets, or whatever you want to call them, who need you coming back so that they can build up their thing with you and take your money and stuff like that, or whatever they can't give you too much truth, because if they get you strong enough, you're gonna leave. But here at Spiritual Combat, I want to get you all the way up here so you could go out and spread it to more people and wake our nation up. Okay, I'm not trying to build Spiritual Combat mega ministries and we're gonna go church planting. I'm gonna plant one here, there. And I am Michael Israel of Spiritual Combat. Kneel before me. I'm not trying to do that. I do go out and teach other places and encourage them to form their own groups and link up and get to know each other so we could begin to build this nation. But I'm not trying to build nothing up under me. But that's what a lot of them do. So you're right on that. She wrote, not knowing how to fight. Yeah, and that's what we teach here, is how to fight. Yes, if I was demonically possessed, how will I know? Yes. So how would you know if you're demonically possessed? I'll tell you my story. I struggle with internet porn addiction. Masturbation, whatever. That's the elephant in the room today. A lot of brothers have that. And a good sign that you're, I'd say almost a perfect sign that you're demonically possessed or demonically oppressed, is something you can't stop doing. You got a lot of people who smoke cigarettes. I was an alcoholic. I'm not saying you can't drink alcohol. I don't, because I drank enough alcohol up through my 30s for 20 lifetimes. So I don't even smell alcohol. Sister Koya, she'll have a glass of wine or something like that, but she can handle that. Me, I get a little sip of wine and 5 bottles later, But anyway, so I struggled with that stuff. I couldn't. So if there's something you need to stop doing, but you can't stop doing it, and no matter what you do, you can't stop doing it, that's a good sign that you might be that it's a good sign you might be demonically possessed or demonically oppressed. Okay. Let's see, sis, what else did you say? And like I said, here on Spiritual Combat, I got a bunch of videos about that. I got a bunch of videos about overcoming lust and addictions. But lust and addictions and bitterness and unforgiveness, and a lot of people been raped and molested, or a lot of people struggle with addiction and all that stuff. We got lessons on that because those are elephants in the room. Those are the big things that people are wrestling with that nobody ever teaches on. So she put, not knowing how to fight. She said, yes, if I was I watch you all the time. Well, keep watching, and because what you find, I say the same stuff over and over again, and eventually it catches, and you see the simplicity of it, and then you could go out and teach and educate people and help people. Because that's the whole game plan. I have learned a lot from you, the cleaning, the cut platter. I need to hear, but I still haven't overcome. And if I have, which I don't think so, I see no change. So yeah, and not looking for a husband, just want a prayer partner. Yep, That's no problem. And you know that, and the book tells you, you know, don't forsake the assembling. You don't have to assemble every single week, but you got to make sure you link up with other Hebrews from time to time. I'm either at an event somewhere, like I'm going, so I'm gonna be fellowshipping with a bunch of brothers and sisters in Cincinnati, and you know, but what we do when I go to these events, I make sure that the people there say, hey, make sure everybody says where they're from, because Yoshiyahu was telling a story about how he went out. I think he went somewhere in Illinois or somewhere he had went. And he was like, everybody tell me where you're from. And everybody was saying where they were from. And turns out there were two people lived in the same subdivision, followed Yoshiyahu. Never knew they were there, you know. So, you know, you'd be shocked, you know. So Sister Regina, put in there where you're from if you could. Not, you know, you don't have to list any details. Just, hey, I'm from this state. And I guarantee somebody will be like, well, hey, I'm right near there. I've seen it happen a lot of times. All right, she put, I thank God for how honest you are. Okay, because I know my mind never stops thinking of things that happened years ago and reliving it. I want to be done with it. Okay, so she's from Boston, y'all. I already know two sisters up there in Boston who follow my show. So you're from Boston. She is from Boston. So any of y'all, anybody who pronounces the word car and says ka, reach out to her. You know what I'm saying? But no, she's from Boston. So, and I want to say we're going to have something going on up there. I got to look into that. But let me go to what you said. You said a lot of things, our sisters, there's a lot of things that have happened to our sisters, okay, that have caused them to really have different types of spiritual strongholds and stuff that are hard to overcome. Okay, all right. Rizpa Israel on Facebook. Okay. And I'm about to put something together to so people can link up. But let me tell you this. Things happen to you and you keep replaying them for your mind. The way to overcome those things that hurt you, that keep getting replayed and all this stuff like that, is you got to go through it with the Bible and understand what happened, where you went wrong, where they went wrong, what made them the way they are, what made you the way you are. You got to learn all this stuff. And the place I always tell people to go is what? Start at Proverbs. If you're going through a situation where you are feeling down and you're actively under attack, you need to be in the book of Psalms. You be reading that. And once you're done with Proverbs, you need to study the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, which is in the Apocrypha. And those are the foundational books as far as self-reflection. It has the standard that you could compare every single minute aspect of your personality to make sure it's in alignment with the Most High Yah. Okay? So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, you know, I have no fear of, the biggest hurdle to me moving is bringing myself to fill out a job application because I got ADD. I don't like sitting in one spot for a real long period of time. So the big thing with me is that's the biggest hurdle. If I feel led to move, I will shake and bake. No problem. Sister Koya is the exact same way. I even tested Koya. I was like, I'm like, hey, Koya, hey, how would you feel about moving up to Alaska? And she was like, it's cold up there. You know, because she's from Palatka. It get below 50. She pretty much staying in the house. But anyway, I was like, how would you feel about moving up to Alaska? She was like, it's cold up there. I was like, yeah, it get cold. And I'm just watching to see what she says. She's like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't live up there permanently, but we could go up there for a year. Okay. Like, this sister, all right. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, you know. But if I feel led to, absolutely, I will move, you know. But right now, you know, I feel Jacksonville, Florida is right where the Most High got me right now, so it is what it is. All right. Yeah, I see y'all in there, Tennessee, and there are in Tennessee, USA. Yeah, my man Judah Max out there in Tennessee. I think he getting ready to move though. But yeah, we got a lot of brews in Tennessee. I don't have no problem moving, but I have moved so much when I was younger. I don't look forward to it being. I feel God kept sending me back here to Boston. Yeah. And we got a sister from Flint. I don't know if that's a sister. I think that's a dude from Flint, Michigan. Yeah. So about moving, what I would say is, about moving is it all depends. But the first step would be finding like-minded believers that you can fellowship with. Okay? That's the first step, is finding like-minded believers. So, and it's not hard to do. You know, come on here. Just put in the comments, you know, hey, Michael Israel, can you see if there's anybody from Boston here? You know, it's real simple, man. This whole thing is real simple. It's taking the step. Being a warrior is taking the step, making the move. One step at a time. It's not making some big, huge move. You know, I just chip away, just like spiritual combat is one show at a time, one thing at a time. You know, I'm real behind right now with my show because I was sick. You know, I had that cold that week and all this other stuff going on. I got like 20 interviews lined up that I need to get going. But it's just one step at a time. And as long as you're taking one step at a time, you moving forward. You shaking and moving. But a lot of people just day after day, victim mentality. You know, it is what it is, you know. Most I just never sent nobody my way. What was, you know. Nah, you just do one thing at a time. Yeah, so, but yeah, you know, but yeah, with that said, and I'm going to be going live some more later. I see all y'all in there. Shalom, Tony. I see my wife, she's in there watching. She said, that's right, put on the whole armor, you know. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do, I got an idea. I know what I'm going to do. So, I got an idea. So I'm going to set something up here soon. And it'll be beneficial. Shalom, Michael King. I'm going to just say shalom to everybody before I head out. Shalom, my man Malachi. Malachi is a prayer soldier. Did y'all want to say shalom to everybody? Go ahead. Shalom. All right, get to stepping. All right. My man Tony, that's another Hebrew soldier, straight Hebrew soldier. He knows about warfare. Let's see, who else? Shalom, Elaine, good to see you in there. Hadassah, shalom to you, Mitchell, shalom. My man Lorvins, Ak Lorvins is he's in the virtual studio there. He's gonna be on next Wednesday doing his album release. You're hooking on Yasha Allah. You know him. That is my brother in this thing. Mikael, the Gladiator, Gabar, Yasharala. That's my aunt from Chicago. Jamal, Shalom to ya. Asanawa, that's the BK Gladiator. She from Brooklyn, USA. Sister Regina from Boston. She from Boston. Sister, how cold is it up there in Boston right now? Because, I mean, you know, it's a little cool down here. It's 80 degrees today. So I just want to know, what's the temperature up in Boston? My man Mark, shalom to you from Flint. King Azarel, Maccabee, shalom to you. Kia, good to see you. So, on betrayal and trying to heal on being betrayed by a spouse, and that can be tough. And again, that healing process, the first part of the healing process is knowing what went wrong, what you did wrong, what you missed seeing in them, what you overlooked, and then of course them, where they're off at. And what made them off, and what put that spirit on them, and is it still on them, and are they trying to get it off them, and all that. So a lot goes into all that. But the first step is education, spiritual education and understanding. And then my man Jay Zebulon, you up there in ATL. Shalom, Mark. Good to see you, man. Ooh, low 40 today. Wow. So low 40. Yeah, I'm gonna get a wake up call tomorrow because I'll be up in Cincinnati. It's gonna be freezing up there. I know. It's gonna take me a minute to get used to that. Shalom, Dimples. Good to see you in there. Israel, witness and servant. Good to see you. Shalom to you. Missy, good to see you in there. So yeah. Yep. And yeah, I've been running. Oh, you're in Miami today. What's the temperature down there, Jay? Zebulon, what's the temperature down there in Miami? It's probably about 80 or 90 down there. People can't even comprehend that. They're like, what does that even feel like? Because I know it's freezing up north. Yeah, yeah, so, yeah, that's good. Let's see. I want to see what the temperature is down in Miami. I'm going to hang in there for that. Yeah, Shalom Mitchell. Good to see you in there. Who else is here? Eliah Ben Levi, good to see you. 86. So a little warmer than it is here. Yeah, it's 80 here. I was sweating all day today. But yeah, y'all I don't even know what negative 27 is. I don't even know what that is. But yeah, so but I just want to encourage y'all going through those situations, man. Watch some of this for the sister. I think that was a sister who just went through some type of situation with a relationship or whatever, where there might have been infidelity. Go check out some of the older videos and all that. You know, because that can be a complicated situation, you know. Yeah, so, but anyway, with that said, I'll probably be going live again a little later, sooner than later, because I see, might be going live with Ron. I know he got a ton of information and things he's bringing out that he's getting ready to do, Ron Dalton. And and I got a commercial from Ty Serve, so I got a video that he wanted me to get out there for y'all about the brew out. So yeah, I'll be going live later. And with that said, y'all, I'm gonna wrap this broadcast up. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. Shalom.